Yes, good morning and welcome to One Network Port Harcourt Center. Here in Port Harcourt, the weather is quite cold. It's been raining all morning. I don't know how the weather is where you are, but you're welcome to Newspaper Review. And today is August 10, 2022. I want to appeal to the River State government to again look at the issue of managing refuse on our roads and streets. We expect that something will be done about that. It's Newspaper Review, but before we go into that, we want to first of all, I want to apologize for the lateness of the program. We're several minutes late due to circumstances beyond our control here, and we want to start with today in history as usual. We want to take you through a few dates. A few things that happened on August 10 several years ago. And today we are beginning with something that had to do with the media. In 1948,
Candid Camera made its debut on television after being on radio for about a year. It will go on to become world acclaimed as some way of recording events or people without their knowing, and then bringing it on TV to show what had happened in different parts of a city or a country. Candid Camera in 1948 made its debut on TV after 1 year on radio as Candid Microphone. Yes, we go over to the next date, and that's 1961. 1961, that's very important for so many people who pay attention to international history and international war issues. During the Vietnam War in 1961, the United States Army begins Operation Ranch Hand, spraying an estimated 20 million United States gallons, that's about 76,000 metric tons of defoliants and herbicides over rural areas of South Vietnam in an attempt to deprive the Viet Cong of food and vegetation cover. Very, very inhuman event, if you would permit me to say. 1961,
during the Vietnamese War, the U.S. Army begins Operation Ranch Hand and sprayed an estimated 20 million gallons of defoliants and herbicides over the rural areas of South Vietnam in an attempt to deprive the people of food and vegetation cover. You will say that that was weaponizing food, that was weaponizing food and resources. Well, we go over to 2001. 2001 here in Africa.
In 2001, the Angola train attack occurred, causing the deaths of 252 people. 2001, the Angolan train attack occurred, and 252 people were sent to their early grave. That's the much we're taking today on Today in History.
We hope you've benefited from it one way or the other, and we are going to take a very short break, and we'll be back with Newspaper Review. Please stay tuned. Yes, you're welcome back to One Network Center, Port Harcourt, and One Network Port Harcourt Center, and you can reach us on Megaband FM 97.3, 97.3 FM, Megaband 97.3, and we are here with opening with The Punch today, 10th of August 2022, and it begins with this headline: Reps summon Finance Minister over subsidy query NNPC. The House of Representatives has summoned the Minister of Finance over the subsidy issue
and has issued a query to NNPC. Details of that report you'll find on page 19 of the newspaper. And then we have this one from ASU, settled with ASU now, Vice Chancellor's Beg FG. Settled with ASU now, Vice Chancellor's beg the federal government. It tells you that some serious issues are going on, and vice chancellors are concerned that students have stayed home for more than 6 months. And you find details of that report on page 8 of the Punch. And right beside that, we have diesel hike. NRC reduces Lagos-Ibadan trip by 67%. The cost of diesel has forced the Nigerian Railway Corporation to reduce the Lagos-Ibadan traffic by 67%. That's a whopping 2/3 of its run. Details of that you find on page 20 of the news of the Punch. And we have FG inaugurates council to revive Ajaokuta others. FG inaugurates council to revive Ajaokuta others. You find details of that on page 19. May we just add that this will be the opt-in time that Ajaokuta and such other rolling mills will be in view, and we hope this time it will be for keeps, to be final, and will be in the interest of the country. Right beside the masthead of the Punch, we have Nigeria spends $2.35 billion on phone importation. Nigeria spends $2.35 billion on phone importation. I mean, somebody wants to do a quick math there and multiply what by the exchange rate, and that's quite a lot. And perhaps this report is indicative that it's time for Nigeria to look at considering either assembling the phone used here or to produce. Well, find details of that on page 18 of the newspaper. And then we go over to the main headline on the Punch this morning. Main headline on the cover of Punch, and we have Wike's romance with Tinubu's men rattles Amechi's base. Wike's romance with Tinubu's men rattles Amechi's base. You'll remember that it's been long after the PDP presidential primaries, and Wike has been trending, Wike, and article. And now this report says Wike's romance with Tinubu's men rattles Amechi's base. Details of that on page 2 of the newspaper. And we have some riders. We're going to begin with this one. Wike desperate for alliance with Tinubu, wants protection after 2023. Wike desperate for alliance with Tinubu, wants protection after 2023. That's from the Rivers APC. That is assuming that Tinubu will win the election anyway. Amechi unhappy about Abe's closeness to Tinubu, says ex-minister's associate. Amechi also in the run for the APC presidential primaries is said to be unhappy about Senator Magnus Abe's closeness to Tinubu, says ex-minister's associate. And Rivers governor free to join APC, says Shitu. That's a former minister of communication. Rivers governor free to join APC, says Shitu. And we have Wike articles loyalist trade blame. Wike articles loyalist trade blame. Want to find details of this intriguing story when you grab a copy of the Punch this morning. And we have a picture story of the Minister of Interior, Aregbesola, being welcomed and all that. And there's this story right below it, which says that the federal government has issued 1.9 million passports in a great production center. The federal government has issued 1.9 million passports and has inaugurated a production center. I want to find where this is happening, and more of that on page 8 of the Punch this morning. And we go right to the bottom section of the Punch, and we have 5 arrested over our attack. Governor warns kidnappers. Remember the Awawa attack where a church was attacked and about 39 people were killed by bandits. Now the report says 5 arrested over our attack. Governor warns kidnappers. That's on page 9 of the Punch. And we have Lagos-Ibadan traffic. Miscreants rob motorists. Police deny abduction. Miscreants rob motorists. Police deny abduction. And that's on pages 4 and 5 of The Punch. Those are the metro pages of the Punch. And then we go to the last one we're taking from the Punch this morning, and then it is Corona indicts regulatory bodies over Ikoyi building collapse. Corona indicts regulatory bodies over Ikoyi building collapse. You want to find the connection between the Corona and the coroner's report and the building collapse. Grab a copy of the Punch this morning and you go straight to page 10. You'll find the details. We'll move over to the Guardian. The Guardian begins with this intriguing one again from the communications sector, and it says telecommunications sector rather. Broadband penetration hits 44.5% as NCC reviews short code services. Broadband penetration hits 44.5% as NCC reviews short code services. Those of us interested in communication, telecommunications, IT, and all that, you want to find details of that on page 3 of the Guardian. And right beside that, we have NAS warns political merchants, restates focus on good governance. NAS warns political merchants and restates focus on good governance. You find details of that on page 4 of the Guardian. And right beside that, we have reps begin fear of subsidy probe, subpoenas minister. Reps, that's the House of Representatives, has begun to fear subsidy probe and subpoena the minister. Want to find out more. Somebody will ask which of the ministers, is it the Minister of State or is it or is it the minister himself of petroleum? But we want to find out who. Get a copy of the Guardian and turn over to page 4. And we have 2023 tension as Taraba government sanctions 3 monarchs, 25 workers. 2023 tension as Taraba government sanctions 3 monarchs and 25 workers. Details of that you find on page 25 of the paper. And it's Wike again, and this one goes. Wike remains boastful as cracks emerge in his camp. Wike remains boastful as cracks emerge in his camp. You want to find out what this is about? Well, let's furnish you with some riders. Maeba, Opara, Omehia fall out with Wike over Atiku. Maeba, Opara, Omehia fall out with Wike over Atiku. These are very strong henchmen, if you would say, for Wike. And no move to divide Rivers PDP, says Atiku. No move to divide Rivers PDP, says Atiku camp. Abe to Wike, don't return Rivers to dark days of toxic politics. That's Magnus Abe to Wike, don't return Rivers to dark days of toxic politics. Maiba accuses Wike of working against Atiku, PDP. Twist as Delta PDP backs Ayu for supporting sheriff's candidacy. Twist as Delta PDP backs Ayu for supporting sheriff's candidacy. You want to find more of this very intriguing story, just grab a copy of the Guardian, and you'll be happy you did. And then you have a picture story of the Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Ehenare, and the Chief of Staff, Ibrahim, that's Chief of Staff to the President, Ibrahim Gambari, and others, who, during a courtesy visit of the newly elected national officers of the National Nigerian Medical Association at the State House, Abuja, yesterday. Interesting story. And we go over to right the bottom end of the Guardian. We have INEC denies recognizing Lawan Akpabio as central candidates. Remember, after the PDP primaries and all that, Lawan and Akpabio had contested for the primaries, and short after, somehow they went and there was a new something happened, and they were now presented as senatorial candidates for their zones. But INEC is saying for the umpteenth time that it does not recognize Lawan and Akpabio as senatorial candidates for the 2023 election. You want to grab a copy of the Guardian and turn to page 6 for details of that report. And we have Akere Dolu CDS confirmed arrest of our church attackers. that's Governor Akeredolu, and the Chief of Defense Staff have confirmed arrest of our church attackers. You find the story on page 5 of The Guardian, and we move over to this day. We move over to this day today, and that's we begin with this one. FG to Nigerians, don't allow another civil war in the country. FG to Nigerians, don't allow another civil war in the country. And we have 2 riders following that report. One says self-centeredness cause of war that claimed 1 million lives. Says self-centeredness cause of war that claimed 1 million lives. That's coming from President Buhari. You want to find out what details, what this is about, and it says, declares Nigeria will remain one. Declares Nigeria will remain one. That's coming from the president. You want to find out details of that, grab a copy of this day, turn to page 10. And we go right above the masthead of this day. Dollar crisis. Nigeria rated most crypto-obsessed nation in the world. Wow. Dollar crisis. Nigeria rated most crypto-obsessed nation in the world. Page 8. Well, this is something somebody should be looking into very, very soon. I will move down right below the masthead of this day. We have Rewane, President's leadership style, delivering least economic outcomes. This is one of the most respected economic analysts and experts in the country, Rewane, and he's saying President Buhari's leadership style has delivered least economic outcomes. And I want to find details of that on page 11 of this day. And we have this one here, how Buhari shut down $418 million Paris Club refund. How Buhari shut down $480 million Paris Club refund. President sets up, we have riders there. President sets up committee to review case. EFC agrees its incentive to current liability realities, nation's mood. Sorry, you want to find details of that on page 10 of the newspaper. And right below that, we have this one here. Defense Headquarters, DHQ. We've arrested suspects of our Catholic Church attack. DHQ, Defense Headquarters, says we've arrested suspects of our Catholic Church attack. And we have interesting riders there. Rules out use of mercenaries in fight against terrorists. Insists Abuja is safe. Akeredolu confirms arrest of 5 suspected church attackers. Afeni Fere welcomes development. Well, right below that, we have the courtesy visit of the president of the newly elected NOC of the Nigerian Medical Association, who visited the president. The president there welcomed the new president. And we have this last one from The Guardian. Wike insults elders, bullies others, alleges governors a strange ally. You want to know who is saying this? Well, let's take it again. Wike insults elders, bullies others, alleges governors estranged ally. Who is this ally and why is he saying so now? Find details of that as you turn to page 12 of The Guardian this morning. And we move over to The Nation. The Nation today, 10th of August 2022, begins with FIRS demands 1 trillion naira tax remittance from MDAs. That's the Federal Inland Revenue Service demands 1 trillion tax remittance from ministries, departments, and agencies. And you want to turn to page 4 of The Nation to grab some insight into that report. And next to that, we have 15 states failed to implement 30 million. Did I say million? 15 states failed to implement 30,000 naira wage for teachers. 15 states failed to implement 30,000 naira wage for teachers. You want to find out which states these are? Well, grab a copy of The Nation and turn to page 6, and you find details. And we have ROCCG ordains over 15,000 ministers at 70th convention. Wow. That the Redeemed Christian Church of God has ordained over 15,000 ministers at 70th convention. That story, you find details of it on page 3 of the newspaper. And then you have Ondo Assembly declares 2 seats vacant. That's the Ondo House of Assembly has declared 2 seats vacant. I want to find out why and who they are that were that are no longer there. If I turn to page 27 rather, of the Nation this morning, and right below the masthead we have this one: Nigeria can't afford another civil war, Buhari tells politicians. Nigeria can't afford another civil war, Buhari tells politicians, as the president preaches peace, or rather unity, preaches unity. And you have this one: I can sway Rivers voters, Wike boasts. I can sway Rivers voters, Governor Wike boasts, and Atiku not interested in genuine truth, say governor's men. Atiku not interested in genuine truth, say governor's men. Rivers State has become a center of so much in the news, trending here and there. Well, grab a copy of The Nation and to see details of what all that is about. And we turn to this one, this other headline on the cover of The Nation. Senate orders Nemasa to explain $5 million payment to law firm. Senate orders Nemasa to explain $5 million payment to a law firm. Not 5 million naira, $5 million payment to a law firm. Details of that is on page 6 of the newspaper. And we see another picture story of the forum of CPC chairman and all that who visited the president. You want to see this, grab a copy of that. I want to go straight to another headline, and that is 5 suspects, 1 accomplice held over our church attack. 5 suspects, 1 accomplice held over our church attack. And we have Irabo, that's the Chief of Defense Staff, says Nigeria does not need mercenaries. We have been trailing attackers, says Akeredolu. Well, most of us say, thank God they've been arrested. Even the names of the 5 suspects are listed there. You can grab it, see for yourself by grabbing a copy of The Nation this morning. And we go right to the bottom end of The Nation, and we have NCC remitted 463 billion naira in 5 years. NCC remitted 463 billion naira in 5 years. And then the last one we take from the newspaper, from The Nation this morning: Customs seizes 12 trucks of smuggled rice. Customs seizes 12 trucks, not 12 bags, 12 trucks of smuggled rice. Details of that report you find on page 2 of the newspaper. Remember, you're still tuned to One Network Center, One Network Port Harcourt Center. You can reach us on Megaband 97.3 FM. We are continuing with newspaper review this morning with Daily Trust, and we have here. Let's continue the count up, if you like. School children in captivity. Bethel Baptist High School, Kujama, 402 days. School children in captivity. Bethel Baptist High School, children have been in captivity for 402 days. That's 1 year and still counting. Right below that, we have allow attacks on national assets and be sanctioned. NSCDC CG warns commandants. Allow attacks on national assets and be sanctioned. The Civil Defense Comptroller General warns his commanders. Details of that you'll find on page 27 of the newspaper. And we have Republicans react to as FBI agents raid Trump's Florida home. Republicans react as FBI agents raided home, a Florida home of former President Donald Trump. I want to find out what this is about by grabbing a copy of Daily Trust and turning to page 6 of the newspaper. And we have residents scamper for safety as bandits strike in Katsina Metropolis. Residents scamper for safety as bandits strike yet again in Katsina Metropolis. Details of that you find on page 23 of the newspaper. And we have this interesting one. Presidency NUPRC fracas puts $1.28 billion surplus ExxonMobil deal in limbo. Presidency NUPRC fracas puts $1.28 billion surplus ExxonMobil deal in limbo. You want to know what's happening? Well, we can give you some riders, and this one says how PIA empowers Commission on Business Deals. How PIA empowers Commission on Business Deals. Why we oppose President's approval regulator. Why we oppose President's approval regulator. Parties must follow regulations, says experts. Well, if you're interested in business, especially what's happening in the oil and gas sector, you want to grab a copy of the Daily Trust to see what this story is about. Yes, right below that important headline on the cover of Daily Trust, we've arrested our church attackers, defense chief. We've arrested our church attackers, defense chief. Well, we've seen this report over and over again in other newspapers. Then we have Kenya presidential poll. Ballot counting begins as voting ends. Kenyan presidential poll. Ballot counting begins as voting ends. This, we must add, is one of the most interesting presidential election in Kenya. And you want to find more about that when you grab a copy of Daily Trust. And we have this one here. Oil subsidy. Reps summon finance minister, give 1 week ultimatum. Reps summon finance minister, give 1 week ultimatum for the minister to appear. Details of that you'll find on page 19 of the newspaper. And we have this interesting one. Electoral Commission officials count votes after the official closing of polls during Kenya's general election at Martha Social Hall in Nairobi, Kenya. A woman cast her ballot. Well, it's ongoing, and we believe that in a matter of hours, the results will be out, and we'll know who has won the Kenyan election, a presidential election. Well, right under that, we have Atiku, Wike's dispute stalls composition of PDP campaign council. Atiku, Wike's dispute stalls composition of PDP campaign council. It's getting quite intriguing. We don't know how far this will go and the kind of damage it could cause the PDP, but this headline says Atiku, Wike's dispute stalls composition of PDP's campaign council. And we have two important riders. Candidate considers Makinde Tambuwal for DG post. Candidate, that's Atiku considers Makinde Tambuwal for DG post. I can perform well in or out of PDP, Rivers Governor. I can perform well in or out of PDP, says Governor Wike of Rivers State. We just want to remind ourselves that the governor said no matter the outcome of the election, presidential primaries, he will not leave the party. But here he says he can perform well in or out of the PDP. Things are really, really going bad. You say, well, we hope it does not degenerate and destabilize the People's Democratic Party. Well, that's how much we're going to take on this review, and we hope to return same time, earlier, of course, tomorrow, by the grace of God. And until we come your way again with another edition, you have a swan time as you enjoy your Wednesday. Thank you, and bye.